What kind of joke is this? A kid in my workshop during an official inspection, yeah. That's how it all started. Mister. Davidson's voice cut through Central Motors like a siren, sharp and cold, and suddenly every wrench, every engine, every voice in the place just stopped. Right there in the center of the chaos, Maya Thompson, 12 years old, clutching a wrench with hands still a little stained by school marker, looked up. She'd only been here 20 minutes, same as every day, helping her dad, Marcus, the lead mechanic who'd spent half his life keeping the shop alive. "I'm sorry, mister Davidson," Marcus said, rushing over. "Maya, honey, you need to go home." "Not now." But Davidson just held up a hand, smirking in that way only a man in a perfect suit and Italian shoes could. He was the kind of boss who made you nervous even if you weren't doing anything wrong, especially today, unannounced, sniffing around like a wolf about to decide whether to shut us down for good. "Wait, Marcus, let the girls stay," he said, eyes glinting. "Actually, I got a better idea." Maya slowly stood up, locking eyes with Davidson, the look that said he'd already decided exactly who she was and what she could do, just from her age, just from her skin. "You know what I mean? That look, it burns." "You say your girl's pretty handy, Marcus," Davidson went on, heading to a covered bay where a Porsche 911, dead for days, was gathering dust and bets. "My best guys from all over town tried this one. Engine's stone cold. Won't start. Can't even get a read on it." His laugh was slick, cruel. "Let's give the expert here a shot. If she can even tell me what's wrong, maybe I'll consider keeping this place open." You could feel the whole shop holding its breath. That Porsche had humbled every mechanic here, even Tony, 30 years on the job. "Sir, she's just a kid." Marcus started, but Davidson cut him off, arms folded, grin widening. "Exactly. But if she spends all day here, shouldn't she know as much as the rest of you?" For a second, Maya didn't move. But inside, something old and stubborn started rising, same thing that made her ace math tests or fix broken radios when grown-ups gave up. The funny thing is, for 2 years Maya had noticed things, little whines, odd clicks, wires that never seemed right. Her dad called it curiosity, but Maya knew she was wired different. "All right," she said, voice calm. "I'll try." Davidson actually clapped, slow, sarcastic. "You all heard her. And let's make it interesting. If she figures it out, shop stays open and you all get a bonus. If not, well, you know." Everyone stared as Maya walked up to the Porsche. The moment her hands touched the hood, her whole face changed. Not nervous, any more focused, sharp, almost grown. Davidson had no idea that Maya had been sneaking into her dad's office for months, reading thick manuals and scouring forums, watching hours of YouTube on stuff most people barely understood. And she had a theory about that Porsche from day one. She circled the car, eyes darting, fingers running over parts with a method that made Tony, the old-timer, frown. She started with the ignition system, then fuel, then the electrical, exactly the order a real pro would go. "Interesting," she muttered, more to herself than anyone. Davidson scoffed. "Figured it out yet, princess? We don't have all day." But Maya kept going, finally crouching down to a tiny black box on the engine's computer. "Did anyone check if this module is sending the right codes?" Silence. Not a single mechanic had checked it. It was new tech, barely in the manuals, and most guys here still worked old school. "Of course we checked," Davidson lied, waving her off. "This car's just too much for you." Maya just nodded, not buying it. "I read about these a few months ago," she said quietly. Tony raised an eyebrow. "Where'd you read that?" Maya glanced at Marcus. "The technical manuals in the office, and I use my phone to translate the tough parts. Some YouTube, too." Davidson laughed. "You think YouTube University is enough to fix a Porsche?" But Maya was locked in, hand steady, voice gaining strength. "On this model, if the module doesn't recognize the right digital signature, it locks the whole system. It's an anti-theft thing. The computer thinks a part's been swapped out, so it won't start." Jake, one of the younger guys, looked confused. "Never heard of that." "It's new," Maya replied, tracing a wire. "Most tech schools haven't caught up yet, but the new manuals explain it." Davidson's face went from amused to annoyed real fast. "All right, genius. Prove it. Either get this car running, or admit you're just a kid who watched a few videos. You could cut the tension with a knife. Maya straightened up, took a deep breath. Fine, but I'll need a laptop and internet gotta download the reprogramming software. Marcus's jaw dropped. For what? To reset the digital signatures, Maya replied, like it was obvious. Davidson was about to shut her down, but Tony stepped in. Let her try. If she messes it up, car's dead anyway. But if she's right. Maya's heart pounded, but her hands never shook. For months, she'd been quietly studying, even hacking into the shop's diagnostic system after hours to learn. She knew she was right. As Davidson grumbled and the laptop was set up, Maya plugged it in, fingers flying over the keyboard like she'd done it 100 times. Dad, remember when I told you I was studying? I was also hacking. You could feel the temperature drop as everyone realized she was dead serious. Davidson's face turned red. You can't hack Porsche's security, a normal kid can't, Maya said, not even glancing at him. But I see patterns others don't. The screen filled with lines of code, then lists of serial numbers. This isn't just this car, she continued. 17 other Porsches, same model, same problem sabotaged on the assembly line. Control module fails 90 days after first ignition. Every single one repurchased by Porsche, fixed with a code, then resold for huge profit. Tony stared, shocked. Where'd you get this? Same place I found out, mister. Davidson here gets 15% commission every time a car in his network can't be fixed, Maya replied, eyes never leaving Davidson. Silence. The truth hung in the air, heavy as an engine block. Davidson sputtered. You can't prove that. I can, Maya said, opening another file. Because I hacked your email, too. Now, on screen for everyone were hundreds of messages Davidson and Porsche executives detailing the whole scam. Instructions on what not to fix, commissions, the works. Marcus read over Maya's shoulder, outrage building. You knew how to fix these cars, and you let us struggle? He even told you what not to look for, Maya added, pointing out a line. Keep staff on traditional diagnostics. Declare unserviceable after 48 hours. Jake stepped up, fist clenched. You made us look like idiots. How many times did we bust our backs because of you? Davidson tried one last time. She's a criminal hacker. Maya just clicked a final window live feed, shop Facebook page. I've been streaming everything, she said as comments poured in. Thought people should know why their cars never got fixed. You could see Davidson crumbling, sweat breaking out, as angry faces and comments filled the screen. Why? He whispered. Maya shut the laptop. Because you bet a black girl from the projects could never be smart enough to catch you. And every time you looked at me, you saw what you wanted to see, someone you could dismiss. I waited for the right time, and you gave it to me. Sirens wailed outside. Someone had called the cops. Davidson looked at the door, at Maya, and finally realized he'd lost everything to the person he underestimated most. And as the law closed in, Maya stood tall, knowing she'd not just saved her father's job, but exposed a scam that hurt families like hers everywhere. What nobody saw coming. That live stream went viral. 3 months later, Maya was in a skyscraper conference room in Seattle, pitching fraud detection tech to executives from Tesla and Google. Standing ovation. A $2 million contract. She just smiled and said, I'll need my family and my dad's team involved. Meanwhile, Davidson was stuck in a tiny apartment, stripped of everything, watching Maya win national awards on TV. Marcus and Maya turned the shop into a youth tech center, teaching kids from their neighborhood skills nobody ever expected them to learn. Once, her dad joked, remember when I said you should study more and stop tinkering with engines? Tony chimed in, 30 years fixing cars, and I thought I knew it all. Turns out I just needed to listen. It wasn't about knowing more, Maya told them. It was about seeing what others missed. You all had the skills, someone just made sure you never found the real answers. Months later, Maya's system was running in thousands of shops across the country. She'd started a nonprofit, Clean Codes, to train young people from tough neighborhoods. At a school talk, a boy asked, how'd you get the courage to face a man like Davidson? Maya smiled. He was powerful, but he thought power meant he was smart, and he thought being a kid, being black, meant I couldn't be. He gave me the biggest weapon surprise. Another girl raised her hand. But what if you fail? Maya laughed. I didn't fail because I knew the answer before he challenged me. I was ready. The best revenge? Being so good they regret ever doubting you. Years later, Maya was at MIT, still running her company. Davidson couldn't get a job anywhere his name was mud. She turned one man's arrogance into a revolution. She didn't just fix an engine. She fixed a system, built hope for her whole community, and proved that the real mistake is judging by what you see instead of what a person can do. If this story struck a nerve, don't just scroll away, share your thoughts below. Ever been underestimated by someone who lived to regret it? Your story might be the push someone else needs to keep fighting for their shot at justice.